If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be talking about illegal immigration, Chris. You wouldn't even be talking about it. This was not a subject that was on anybody's mind until I brought it up at my announcement, and I said Mexico is sending. Except the reporters, because they're a very dishonest lot, generally speaking, in the world of politics, they didn't cover my statement the way I said it. The fact is, since then, many killings, murders, crime, drugs pouring across the border, our money going out and the drugs coming in.
All right, that was a clip of Donald Trump from earlier tonight, and right after the debate was over, I spoke with the Republican frontrunner. Take a look. And joining us now, he's still #1 in the polls and doing very well on the Drudge Report, instant poll results. Donald Trump, how are you?
That, yeah. Well, I love Drudge, and I heard that. Very honored.
First time in any situation like this, how do you feel about up there?
Well, it was exciting. I mean, there's so many people, and everybody's going wild, and I believe in my subject matter. I mean, make America great again, and that word again is a very important word because it can happen, but you need the right leader. So hopefully we continue to do well.
The country's suffering. There's no doubt about it. The one question that got a lot of boos and came right off the top, running as a third candidate, you wouldn't make the pledge.
Well, I'd make the pledge if I win. But you know what? Why should I give up that leverage? If they don't treat me well, you know, you're talking about the establishment Republicans. If they don't treat me well, Sean, why should I make that pledge? Now, I may at some point do it because I'm starting to really like the establishment people. Rants and the whole group have really been nice lately. But, you know, at this moment, it's great leverage, and I might as well use it. I mean, this country should use leverage in their trade deals. They don't believe in it because they don't know what they're doing. So I knew that was going to be a little bit controversial, but it was exciting. A really good way to start off the show.
You're not afraid to just say, I'm not there.
You know what?
But you hoped, if you didn't win, you would hope that you'd be able to support the Republican nominee.
100% correct. I just want to be treated well, be treated with respect. 100% correct.
Okay. Let me ask you a little bit. Before you ever became a candidate, you're outspoken. You had a Twitter war with Rosie O'Donnell. That came up tonight.
Many others.
But you said something that, you know what, we're too PC, and you said America's in such bad shape. We don't have time to be nice or to have the right tone.
We don't have time. I mean, you know, one of the questions they talked about waterboarding. Do you believe in waterboarding? They asked Ben that question. I said to myself, you know, I'm thinking, here we're talking about waterboarding, and they're chopping off everybody's head. And we're worried about waterboarding. So it's we don't have time for it anymore, Sean. The country's in trouble. We owe $19 trillion. It's going to be 21, 22 very soon. And, you know, when you get up to that $24 trillion mark, it's a whole, we become Greece. We become Greece on steroids, I guess you could say. But I don't know. This was a very exciting night, though. We had such a great crowd. And, you know, they really agreed with what I said.
You know, I interpreted the comments you made about Mexican immigrants, I think, differently than other people did when you talked about the Mexican government, and that came up again and again tonight.
Well, you interpreted correct.
Well, I interpreted it as that they're not doing anything to stop it, and it actually is a stopgap for them if they allow people to leave at will.
Well,
is that what you were saying?
And they save a lot of money. They don't have to take care of the people. Yeah. And, you know, we're not getting their best and their finest. They're pushing people out. And I'm talking about serious, in many cases, people that would be in their prisons. They say, hey, let the Americans have stupid leaders, let them put them in their prisons. And the problem is you'll have people like the guy who, the absolute bad guy who killed Kate and killed Jamil and killed other people. You know, you have all these people coming in, and they're killing and they're causing crime, and the drugs are pouring in. So I turned out to be right. I took tremendous heat that first day. I mean, a lot of your friends like Rush Limbaugh and a lot of people, they said, boy, they used the word incoming. I hadn't heard that word. But Trump is taking tremendous incoming. But it was an honor, and now some of the people that you would least suspect it are calling me up and apologizing. And what I said tonight is true. The word illegal immigration would not have been a topic if it wasn't for me.
It was funny. I think it was quintessential Trump honesty when you said that you donate money, they'll pick up the phone, and yes, you would expect that they would do what you needed to do or 100%. Help you in whatever way. The only question I had is, why would you want to have donated to Hillary to go to your wedding?
Well, no, I was just using that as a joke. Yeah. I mean, they did come to the wedding, but they came because I'm a donor. If I wanted something, I've never wanted it, but if I wanted something and I've contributed, don't forget, that's a different life. I was a businessman. I have to deal with Democrats, I have to deal with Republicans, and I deal with politicians like I'm as good as it gets, I guess. I built a great business, and part of that business is dealing with politicians. I sort of get a kick when people say, but you don't have political experience. I have more political experience than anybody.
But it is a truth, though. People donate for the purpose of buying influence. Maybe the only difference is you're honest about it.
When I see the candidates, and I like these candidates, I had a great relationship with them tonight, as you can see, for the most part. But I like them very much. They're good people. But when I see them raising 50 million, 40 million, 30 million, from friends of mine, 100 million. Well, Jeb's raising 100 million. It's great. But those people are not like charities. You understand. They don't, they want. These are total tough cookies. I know many of them. I probably know most of them. And when they give millions and millions of dollars, they're not doing it, for the good of the American Cancer Society. They're doing it for themselves.
You gave a very forceful answer about all the hundreds of businesses, I guess corporations that you have, and that you use the laws of the land.
I use the laws of the land.
You said something about bankers, though, that got a pretty good applause.
Yeah, because, the people I really did a number on were bankers. These are tough guys. These are the guys that are giving money to all of these candidates. I mean, these are very tough, very sophisticated guys. They know the game. They know the game as well as I do. And I play the game better than they do, but I understand how to play the game. And I also said, Sean, that's what the country needs. When you have 18 or 19 trillion in debt, they need somebody like me to straighten it out, because a politician's never going to understand how to straighten it out.
Which kind of goes, I was a little surprised. You've been pretty harsh against Governor Jeb Bush tonight. You guys got along. You were complimentary towards him.
He was really nice, and I liked him. In fact, he even took, they put words in his mouth, because these people were not so nice to me as far as I'm concerned. But they put words in his mouth, and he said, I did not say that. I thought that was a class act.
Yeah. So when you talk about the economy, and you mentioned 19 trillion in debt, we also have 128 trillion in unfunded liabilities.
You don't even want to think about that one.
But you also said you want to preserve Social Security and Medicare.
Absolutely.
How do we do that, considering that's nearly 80% of the budget?
By making our economy really powerful again. We have to take our jobs. We've rebuilt China. We have single-handedly, they have taken our money, they've taken our jobs, and then they loan money back to us. I mean, they put money in bonds, they buy our bonds. We owe them now $1.4 trillion. Think of it. They do a number on us, and then we owe them money. Think of that. So I know the game better than anybody, and I'm the one that can. I'm the only one that can fix it.
When the issue of tone came up, you said, I think the quote was, "Excuse me, they're chopping off our heads. We don't have time for tone." Is it time for all American politicians to now get rid of political correctness? Are you kind of leading the way?
I don't really think that. I think I'm leading the way at a certain high level of leadership. But look, they're not that way. They're not inclined to be that way. But we need a leader at the top that's going to not worry so much about tone, that's going to get results. We don't have time for tone. And it is true. And Jeb, again, really nice guy, but he did criticize me on tone. He thought my tone was a little bit tough, a little bit quick. We need strong tone, and we need enthusiasm. We need excitement and enthusiasm, because it's never going to get better.
There's never going to be an apology to Rosie. You're still glad you said all that to her.
Oh, she's terrible.
But you wouldn't do that as president.
Probably not. Well, it sort of broke up the question from Megan, which was not a very nice question to start off with. But no, I'm not a fan of Rosie, but that's okay.
And you're in this to the end. You want this job.
I want this job, and I want to be the Republican. I want to be the Republican. I'm the one that can beat Hillary. Believe me, Hillary's worst nightmare is me. And who treats it rougher than me? She should be going to prison for what she's done with the emails. Nobody even says that. What she's done is totally illegal. Look at General Petraeus, Sean. They've destroyed his life over doing much less than what she's done.
I mean, you know what his confidential information was? His calendar. Mr. Trump, good to see you. Thanks for spending time with us. We appreciate it.
Great honor.